How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the work week. Maybe you had maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus you're one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. I know, that was pretty corny. So today we're going to be talking about OCGN, which ended up having a strong day inside the market. But before we get started, of course, we got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, just to let you know, we also have timestamps down below in the description. But I do want to tell you to make sure you watch this full video out because it will help with your due diligence when it comes to this stock. So the first thing that we're going to be covering is recent news coming out of India in regards to Bharat Biotech. It has something to do with the union governments and as well as the state governments within the country, and it will have an impact on overall supply. I will also be giving an analysis and breaking down the article so you guys can easily understand it and see why it's important. Then secondly, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the price action that we saw today. And what does it mean? Do we want to see bullish behavior from OCGN? So what are those prices that it needs to be at in order to follow that trend? And if it is looking bearish, or if it does decide to pull back, where do we want to see a recovery? And then we're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership. That is right, we did cover this yesterday. We had an institution though that came in with a position which I want to share. And of course, we're going to be going over the short interest information. We want to know, what is the overall market sentiment? It's been some time since we gotten some news. And we also want to know, is there any short squeeze potential in this stock? And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're going to be going over a recent article that came out in regards to Bharat Biotech. So COVID-19 vaccination, Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech won't participate in global tenders flooded by states. Last week, several states had issued global tenders amid a shortage of supply, making way for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, among others, to supply the COVID-19 doses. So what this means is, in India, it's separated with states, sort of like in Canada, how we have provinces, and just like how you have in the US, you have different states. So what's happening is these states are saying, hey, we need more vaccines. So they're going outside of Covaxin and so forth and trying to get to companies like Pfizer and Moderna to get more vaccines within their states. But let's kind of read into it further. So New Delhi, global tenders for procuring COVID-19 vaccines by states such as Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu may yield no results because domestic vaccine manufacturers Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India are reportedly reluctant to participate in global tenders as these drug makers are already supplying vaccines to states across India. So it's pretty much saying, hey, Bharat Biotech and as well as the Serum Institute of India, they're not taking part in any of these tenders, which I'm seeing, well, you know what? They're really busy in regards to manufacturing more of the vaccine, and it definitely has something to do with supply. Last week, these state governments had flooded global tenders amid a shortage of supply, making way for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and among others to supply the COVID-19 doses. At present, only Covaxin and Covishield are available with the state governments. The union government is supplying vaccines to all states for inoculating people above the age of 45. However, the center has approved that states should go in for procuring vaccines to inoculate those in the 18 to 45 age group. And before we go on to the next paragraph, here's another area that I want to highlight. The union government is supplying vaccines to all states for inoculating people over the age of 45. However, the center has approved that states should go in for procuring vaccines to inoculate those in the 18 to 45 age group. So the union is saying, hey, we're responsible for people who are over the age of 45, but it's also granting states the opportunity to actually secure in and bring in more vaccines for people that fall within the age group of 18 to 45. So this is where they were talking about about bringing Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and so forth. Odisha and UP tender specification invite vaccines that can be kept at a temperature ranging between 2 and 8 degrees Celsius. Further, the UP government has mentioned that it has facilities with walk-in coolers and ice-line refrigerators primarily for storage in the range of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius and has limited capacity for -20 Celsius storage, which is provided by deep freezers. In case of the -20 Celsius, the seller has to advise and facilitate the transportation up to consignee place and safe storage at consignee store till the time the item, the vaccine, is dispatched from the consignee store to the ultimate destination vaccine administration place, according to Tall, which cited the UP tender requirements. UP, Odisha, and Tamil Nadu tenders are valid until May 21st, May 28th, and as well as June the 5th. So they're just making sure that they go through these guidelines so these states actually do know how to make sure they're maintaining the quality as far as for the vaccines are concerned when they are brought in, because some of them have to be under certain conditions. Tamil Nadu has flooded a tender for the supply of 35 million doses. In Maharashtra, the BMC said that it will issue a global tender for the procurement of 1 crore doses. Meanwhile, the center has supplied 1.65 crore doses to all the states till April, and in May it will be providing a further lot of 2.5 crore. The total number of doses secured by all states sums to 1.23 crore, with 1.27 crore more in the offing. So, as you can see here, there's definitely issues in regards to production for Bharat Biotech, and it's part of the reasons why when we went over the news about them, hey, having to share the patent information so they can actually manufacture more and get some help. So this is definitely telling us that, you know what, there is a concern here, and it's part of the reasons why they are looking outside and accepting more vaccines from other brands. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. So let's take a look at how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing the day at $9.30, being up 8.14% on the day. On the low, it tested $8.36, and then on the high, testing $9.59. So before we get started, the chart that we're looking at is actually the 6-month 2-hour chart. And we want to take a look at our indicators. We want to see how OCGN is actually lining up. So right now, we are below the 100-day. We are riding above the 21-day EMA, and we're also riding above the 200-day as well. If we take a look down here at the RSI below, it is right around fair value, right around 50. We also know that they did a direct offering here at $10. So as far as overall of how it's looking in general, we are looking very bullish. And one thing that I do want to see is us actually reclaiming and getting past this 100-day come tomorrow and as the week actually progresses. So we can actually go into testing right here around $10. Yes, we might have some resistance here because this is a psychological level, but I do believe if we're able to make some movements past it, we could see some strong move to the upside and get right around this 1060 area where we start meeting some more resistance. But do keep in mind, before we actually get to that 10 area, we definitely have an area of resistance here right around $9.60. Like I said, we tested $9.59, and then that was met with selling pressure. But one thing to do understand of the fact is that we're holding down this $9 area of support. And this is an area we spoke about this for quite some time on this channel. If it's able to hold up this area at $9, then we could potentially see it make that move going into $10. So I want you guys to be aware of that. If it does decide to pull back, then what I'm seeing, if that $9 area does ever end up breaking, then what I'm going to be looking out for, and I want to see continue to actually hold up, is this $8 level, which has been holding up fairly well. We talked about that $8.50 area. It did pull back to $8.36, but do keep in mind of the fact, as long as OCGN is able to hold up this $9 and we get that news or we get that catalyst or we get some big time update, then we can start making that move to 10 and then reaching to 11. And depending on what that news is, then we can easily get to all-time highs. So we're on fintel.io. We're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for OCGN. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. And we already covered what went down on the 17th in yesterday's video. So as far as for today on the 18th, we have True Investments Capital going in with 1,600 shares, or just over 1,600 at 1,650. So that's actually really good to see that we saw an institution decided to load up today. Now, if we take a look at the short interest information, as you can see, the short volume ratio stands at 34%. So there's definitely some short squeeze potential here. Also, if we take a look at the short shares availability updated 2 minutes ago, it's at 1.1 million. And as far as the short ball free rate, it is at 3.35%. And if we take a look at the short volume ratio history, it definitely has been going up as of late from May the 12th. You can see it was at 19.71, 32, 33, 34. And really, I'm not too surprised about this because as more time passes and we haven't been receiving any updates from Ocugen, then that short volume ratio is going to continue to go up. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, it was great to see that it had a strong day inside the market, but we also did notice a good amount of tech stocks ended up benefiting today. So one of the things I want you guys to understand, the market conditions can definitely have an impact on stocks, especially OCGN. Another thing to also keep in mind, we had an institution loading up and there was also a lot of buying. We know they did that direct offering at $10. So seeing it at the current price where it is right now, many are loading up saying, hey, when potential news does come out, then this stock is going to run and I want to make sure that I'm a part of it. We also do realize OCGN does have a lot of short squeeze potential. So when that news does come, expect an explosive move in overall price action. We also got to look at the current conditions between the agreements with Bharat Biotech and as well as Ocugen. The reason why this is key, we already know in India the pandemic is definitely having a huge impact on the country overall in general. As when we were going through that article, they definitely have issues with supply. Bharat Biotech is very busy at the moment. So my question is, in regards to OCGN, how are you going to be able to, even when that EU submission goes through and everything is good, is Bharat Biotech going to be able to get Covaxin to you? There might be a little bit of delay here, and as well as getting more information from studies. We also know that Bharat Biotech is working on a vaccine for the age group of 2 to 18 years old. And we talk about how this can give them a niche, especially if they bring this into the US, because that is a concern right now, and there is a gap that needs to be filled. So there's a lot of questions going on right now, and I want to make sure you guys are aware of this and you're staying within the know. I feel like as a YouTuber, I hate saying that, but I feel like when I started this channel, I want to make sure you guys can make informed decisions, right investment decisions. You're putting your money on the line here. So you need to look at what's going on both sides of the coin in whichever stock you're in or whatever you're investing in. So that's why I wanted to update you guys on all for today. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and we'll be talking real soon.